welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm Sherry Duckworth. Joining us today, we have a great guest. He's the Executive Director for Six Stones, Mr. Scott Shepard. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having us.
We have a little something for y'all to watch so you can learn more about Six Stones. Take a look at this.
I'm the Executive Director here at Six Stones Mission Network. We get asked all the time, what is Six Stones? Well, Six Stones is a coalition of churches, businesses, nonprofits, and other entities that have come together to meet the needs of the community. About 10% of our community lives in poverty, and in Tarrant County that's about 25%. So we spend a lot of time talking about how to address the needs of our community, how we make a difference, how do we make an impact. But the reality is we spend an awful lot of time at Six Stones talking about you and I. How do we motivate the other 90% of our community to engage, to move forward, and to meet a need? That's what inspires us. That's what brings change. And so what Six Stones has tried to do is to pull an entire community together, to build this coalition, to address those needs, and really give everybody a piece of that, whether it is the church or the corporation or city hall or our school district. And really that's what we've found over the course of time is that's how you transform a community. Collaborating, working, building relationships, building unity are the things that make a difference. My staff and whatnot don't want to hear it. We look a little schizophrenic because we're addressing what's in front of us, what the community's desire is, what they need, not necessarily what our agenda is. And that's really the power when you can pull a community together, talk about needs, talk about issues, talk about solutions, and then execute together. That brings community, that brings this power that we found here at Six Stones. And what we've really found is it's not really a coalition even. This coalition then becomes this thing called a platform, that everybody has a piece, a part of the conversation, part of the dialogue, and that is where the power really comes because we have that commonality, that common goal together. With a little bit of success and the things that we've seen in our community, other communities are now calling and wanting to know, how do you do that? And so we felt for some time and really have turned up the pace on trying to create not just this platform, but create strategies and plans so that we can empower other communities. So now what we're trying to do is to put this in a format that is easy, it's manageable. We can show you things we've learned as far as leadership and structure, but we can also talk to you about processes and how to be successful quickly, to have impact, greater impact, quicker on a broader base. That's really what we're trying to do with this thing called a platform. And we'd love for you to be a part of that. So thanks for taking a look at us and seeing all the programs and things that we offer. But we would invite you to come and join us. Come be a part of us. Come learn, maybe take that back to your community, but come be a part.
Wow, that's amazing. Y'all are doing some incredible things in the community. I like how you talk about, getting people to know the processes, knowing what's involved. I'm a process person, so the details of, okay, but how do we do this?
Right.
Is so important. So I can't wait to talk to you a little bit more about that.
You bet.
But to get us going today, I would love to hear a little bit of the story of how Six Stones came to be. How did this get placed in someone's heart to create such an incredible ministry?
You bet. Well, it actually began because we had transitioned so much. All of our communities are transitioning, especially here in the Metroplex. And so things are turning over, demographics are changing, and unfortunately in most church life, I was on a church staff, and we don't really understand that. We tend to stay inside the bubble there. And we began to see the cracks in the dam. And it was really our pastor, John Metter, that came to me one day after kind of a second experience and said, we've got to do something. We've got to go build a coalition of churches, businesses, nonprofits to meet the needs of the community. And I was a little bit hesitant in the beginning, but what I heard him say was kingdom. Because he talked about all the sectors coming together, not the church or not City Hall or not the school district or a nonprofit. And so that was very appealing.
I like that kingdom mindedness. Tell me a little about how that works when you're connecting with local churches and local communities to look past just our four walls in our local church.
Well, the thing that we've learned is it's really not about what we want to do or want to accomplish, right? Jesus said, I came to serve. And so when you can go down to City Hall and sit down with a city manager or the mayor, or you can go down to your school district and sit down with a superintendent or somebody that deals with those issues on a daily basis and ask them what their need is. Because we had a little bit of an agenda when we started, but as we began to really lean in and listen, and you can begin to let them tell you what the real issues are in the community and serve their needs, it's amazing what opens up at that point.
So of course I'm making a list in my mind, and at the top of the list is listen.
Yes.
listen to the need of the people.
Absolutely.
Put our own agendas aside and
Absolutely.
hear what they need. And I love how you all go to the city council and you're hearing what those local cities are really in need of. We have a little something for y'all to watch. Take a look.
I go one day without helping anyone, my day's not right. I have to help somebody because I know I've been there. You know, because you give to somebody, you change somebody's life that way.
Scripture tells us to take care of the widows and the elderly. You know, those that can't take care of themselves. That's kingdom work, doing what we're supposed to do for people that can't do it for themselves.
And these programs, I think, they knock down walls. They tell kids, like, you know what, we believe in you and you can do this. And
it's all a giving. You know, the kids are receiving something, but the community as a whole has that opportunity to give to these families. And I think that's something really special.
Honestly, it wasn't the food and the gifts that got me. It was the love and the it's okay that I got out of it. It's to build us up when we think we're down. It's to give us a hand when we just need to take one little step and you're afraid to, because that's what keeps us down a lot, is fear.
That's such an unbelievable thing and such an awesome burden being lifted that it makes a difference in whether we can continue to live here or not. They're wonderful people is all I can tell you. I can't tell you how much we appreciate and are grateful for what they've done.
We see so many people being touched in this video. Talk to me about the different ways that you're touching the community, because it looks like you're doing so much.
Well, we seem to. We started simply with a food pantry, had one for many years, and it was typically built around your benevolence program at your church. But when you begin to open it up to the school district and they started to talk about kids on free and reduced lunch, that expanded. And then they came back to what we call school-based initiatives, where school supplies seem simple. But the problem is these kids need the tools to excel. And everybody does one unless you sit down with the district and talk about it. Then you begin to synergize. And so for us, we went from 1,000 to 6,000 students this year in our school district. And then you saw the homes in the video. We have a partnership, actual partnership, faith-based organization with cities in contract, financially even. They help us, where we've actually been able to work with 500 homeowners over the last 7 years to help them with those needs. And then the other part that you saw was what we call community ministries. That's where you have to build in the strategies of the gospel into all of those things. It's kind of covert,
Yes.
Wise as serpents, peaceful as doves, but you got to carry the gospel into the community.
How are you able to supply each of these ministries, each leg of the ministry, with what's needed?
Well, the great thing is that everybody has their slice of that pie. They're passionate about kids or feeding people or something. So you've got to find that itch, as our old city manager used to say. You have to scratch it. But back to, when you ask a city or a school district, what's the need? It unifies versus all of us having a separate agenda or platform or an idea of what we want to accomplish. But when you rally around what the city says it needs the most, and then you can produce, it brings that synergy and energy. So corporations, churches, nonprofits, foundations, they can all have a piece of that pie.
I love that. It's great to see the community coming together that way. I was overwhelmed at the amount of just clothes and food that we were able to see on there. We're going to learn more about Six Stones, so take a look at this.
Galatians 6:10 says, "Therefore, as we have the opportunity, let us do good to all people." That's what you guys are doing today. So if you remove your caps, let's ask God to bless our day.
The HEB area is very diverse and just able to bring everybody together and that work as one. Doesn't matter where you're from or what you do. At the end of the day, on Fridays and Saturdays, you're just CPR. You're just here to work where you can.
We're bringing back the life that the community needs, you know, livening it up, giving back to families that need us, and we need them. We support them, they support us. We just need each other, so we give back that way.
It revitalizes homes, it improves neighborhoods. Even our homeowner said it's improved her whole life. The stress of having a home that was falling down was causing her some medical issues. Since she's found out we're going to do this and we started working on her home, all of her medical numbers have come down and in the normal range.
That these people can come and do this and volunteer to do this and for somebody that they don't know, it's revitalizing me, making me feel younger than 81, maybe 80.
I was living in Florida about 22 years, and then I moved here because I got laid off 3 times. Last year I did Citizen Police Academy to start to learn about the city, about the state, because I don't have anybody here, so I started to learn. And through them, I learned about 6 stones. And so I decided to be a volunteer last year, and tomorrow I'm going to be working too. So today I'm a lucky lady who will be in my house.
In 1982, my husband got a new position here. He had some health problems, though, so he was out on short-term disability. And when he returned to work, the corporation he worked for declared bankruptcy suddenly. It was the beginning of a very serious walk of faith. I don't feel as overwhelmed today as I did yesterday. That's revitalization to me.
It helps the fire department, it helps the community, it helps the city. It's just the right thing to do.
Just a little effort makes a huge difference, like what you can see happen here. A bunch of us getting together, doing some work, each doing their bit. Big difference.
I love how he said a little effort makes a huge difference.
It does.
And it's so true. It's wonderful to see the faces of the recipients. And it's also wonderful to see, I noticed that some of the recipients have now become volunteers as well.
Absolutely.
Will you tell us about your volunteers? Tell us about how they come to you, how they're connected.
Well, we open the funnel real wide, whether it's at City Hall or School District, our local churches, there's student groups all across, and that's really what it's about. When you're leveraging that credibility in those entities, they'll spread that news for you as well and let people have an on-ramp. But there's such a culture right now of wanting to serve and to give back. I know we talk about a lot of strange issues, but people really want to do something important and significant, so you just have to give them an on-ramp.
I love that. People are looking for ways to make a difference,
yes.
To do something, to be part of some kind of change for good.
You bet.
So I think it's wonderful. I like how you put that, an on-ramp to it. And for the local churches that are interested in hearing more about it, or anyone watching today from the private sector, what would you like them to know about being involved with Six Stones?
Well, we'd love for them to go to our website and take a look at what we're doing, and you've shown some great footage of that. And then there's also a page coming up, which is we're calling the Catalyst of Hope Network. We have more and more cities and groups that are calling, going, how do you replicate this? And we want to help to do that. Matter of fact, April 21st and 22nd is our next blitz. We'll have about 50 houses, 1,500 of our closest friends, but they can come serve, watch, and we do a thing called Backstage. You can see if you can replicate this in your community. It's free. Just come. Just come.
Yeah, I love that, so people can hear about the details of how
Yes.
to connect. When you listen, now what do I do with that information?
Exactly.
And what are the steps to take? I think so many of us get bogged down in the details of that. I'm one of those people, you know,
Yes.
I'm like, I want to see the big picture, but let's break it down.
You bet.
So I think it's wonderful that you have the experience, you're equipped with that, and the community can really look to you all for assistance. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for Six Stones and what you're doing.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, and thank you all for watching Joy in Our Town. Welcome back to Joy in Our Town. I'm Sherry Duckworth. Joining me now is Chaplain Stanley Manikas with the Union Gospel Mission of Tarrant County. Thank you for being with us today, sir.
I'm so happy to be here, Sherry.
I love the story, the backstory of the mission. Talk to us about how old it is.
The Union Gospel Mission was started in 1888 when Fort Worth was a wild and woolly town.
Wow.
And it was started because churches had to work together to figure out how to deal with the cowboys, spread the gospel, and create a new community. So we've been at it 128 years.
128 years.
Yes.
Back when the cowboys were around.
Yes, that is true.
That's so fascinating. I love to hear about the history of our local cities. It's really wonderful, and it's great that you all have been here that long. We have a little something for you all to watch. Take a look at this.
Lost.
Worthless.
Humiliating.
Havoc.
Ashamed of myself. I lived under a bridge in Lake Worth in my truck. And I was struggling with alcohol and probably some anger issues. I was actually eating out of the trash can. And then I got sick. Ended up going to All Saints for like a week. They said I had an infection in my intestines, and probably from, eating where I was. I was hungry. I hadn't bathed in a while. It was about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Really busy, a lot of traffic. I was not in a good mood. All these cars were just flying by, and I remember looking over my shoulder and thinking, I could take one step and all this would be over.
You drive down the street and you see them on a daily basis, but they live different lives from us. A lot of them are looking for hope. They're looking for a place to live. They're looking for a job to provide for their families, for their children. A lot of them are sick, both physically and mentally. But that's where Union Gospel Mission of Tarrant County comes in. We not only are a shelter, but we provide for the whole person. For each person that walks through our doors, we create an individual plan for them so that we can help them, walk with them to become self-sufficient, to give them a new beginning. When Tommy first came to us, he had some health issues and some struggles with addiction. So the first priority was to get him healthy.
I have cirrhosis after all that drinking. And then I have diabetes, which I have to insulin 3 and 4 times a day. I haven't had any problem in 6 or 8 months now so I'm doing really good, and I feel a lot better too. I went to AA. They have it a couple times a week, and then they have Celebrate Recovery. I like Celebrate Recovery especially. That's more spiritual based, which I kind of think a lot of my problems were.
Tommy had a bad habit of isolating himself, so part of his individualized program was to give him the social skills he needed to get a job and maintain one.
They put me to work my first week. I wasn't here but no time, and that was the best thing I think that could happen. In meeting Sylvana, we talked about dealing with conflicts and things in the workplace and dealing with other people. I'm still not very good at it, but I'm working on it. For 30 years, if you spoke to me or said good morning, I didn't even acknowledge you. I didn't want to be that way anymore.
Anita, like so many of our other residents, experienced some significant trauma in the past. So as a result, at UGM, we connected her with mental health professionals to get her healthy.
In the beginning, when you find out that you got bipolar and you have PTSD, it made me just really take a breath and step back and say, I'm not crazy. There's something wrong with me and it needs to be fixed. I know myself enough now. I know when something's not right. And I'll talk to my counselor, I'll go to my doctor, we figure it out.
All of our residents participate in Alpha. Alpha is designed to connect residents with each other and also to Christ.
I thought I was useless, worthless. They've poured out their hearts here, and we're all sharing, telling our stories, and it makes you stop and look and say, well, I'm not the only one. You kind of build a little bit of a sisterhood.
At UGM, we serve a lot of families, single mothers, and even fathers to provide a safe and nurturing environment for their children.
My son's 6 years old. His name is Michael.
The facilities at UGM, they're really great for my son, especially because he's just started learning, and they have this library, and it's really cozy. It's got a bean bag, so he can just like kick back in the bean bag and read a book, which he does. There's a playground that's huge. We go there probably every day.
All kids deserve to be kids, so UGM provides tutoring and enrichment program so kids can thrive.
After they eat dinner, they go into a class and Miss Cindy helps them with their homework. They get more encouragement from other people besides me. He gets to go to 5 different camps this summer, and they get to go kayaking, they went swimming, they went fishing. It feels more like home than it does a homeless shelter.
Every one of our residents have different needs. They need job training, mental health professionals, a place for their kids, and they all need people who care. And at Union Gospel Mission of Tarrant County, all those pieces come together. We help residents to maximize their potential, become self-sufficient, and return to the community. It's not easy, but we see miracles happen every day.
When I get out of here, one of the things I plan on doing is volunteering, especially at the hospital, with people who are sick and alone, because I know what that's like.
I want to help others to feel good about themselves and to know that they are somebody and they deserve to be happy.
Salvation is not just spiritual. Every time someone experiences a new beginning, that's a life being saved. And that's a salvation everyone can believe in.
You can't watch that and not be moved by hearing our fellow humans' stories.
Yes.
To know that there are people like you and me out there who have gone through something that's really difficult to understand. And I think that one of the big questions that many of us have is the how. How did this happen to you? Why are you homeless? And you see their faces and you want to understand, how they got to this place. For me, partially because I don't want them to stay there, right?
Yes.
I want to help them.
Yes.
So to help us understand how many of our fellow brothers and sisters have ended up on the streets this way.
One of the reasons they're ending up on the street is poverty. Another reason is joblessness. And in the United States, if we took 100% of the people who are qualified to work, only 62% of those people have jobs. Under the best of circumstances, it would be 72%. And it doesn't take much after losing a paycheck or two to be homeless. The other thing is mental illness, chemical dependency, the loss of support. We have people that have taken care of relatives, and when the relatives die, they're on the street because their whole support system has really cratered out. So there are lots of reasons, but I think people have to be very careful not to judge why someone is homeless. They're not, they're still loved by God. They're our brothers and sisters, so you really can't marginalize them. That's why we at Union Gospel Mission want to get them on their feet as quickly as possible.
I love that. Let's hear more about it. Take a look.
Oftentimes, people come in here angry with God, angry with their life, and they feel distance from God. So we have a spiritual program. They attend chapel every day, and they attend Alpha. And when they leave here, they reunite with their faith, and they tell us that that's the one component that really made the difference for them. Philip came into the mission with a Child Protective Services case. So he didn't have his daughter with him when he first came in here. And then he was reunited with his daughter. And now they're here together as a family.
Aubrey is 2 years old. She just turned 2. She's an angel. I mean, yeah, and of course I'm biased because I'm her daddy. Her mom's not really in the picture, so it's a struggle every day. But I have the tools now to be a good parent. Before I didn't care, and now I do. And that's a huge thing, is that the apathy is gone. I have this strong desire to do the right thing for her. and to, you know, just raise her in a proper way. I had a kid and it was a responsibility. Now it's a privilege, you know, and I realized that it's not my right to have a kid, it's a privilege.
We believe community volunteers are fundamental in executing our mission and maximizing the potential of our programs and services. At Union Gospel Mission of Tarrant County, there are a variety of ways to get involved through kitchen service, tutoring and enrichment, the warehouse, Alpha Leaders, chapel leaders, organic gardening, and special events.
God needs your availability, and He can use you. And there's always a place here at Union Gospel Mission. This is the community place of Fort Worth to serve, and there's something to do all the time. We just need your commitment and time.
As we continue to provide new beginnings to the homeless of Tarrant County, we ask that you join us in striving to help others. Union Gospel Mission of Tarrant County, ending homelessness one person at a time.
I love that, ending homelessness one person at a time. And in the videos, we are seeing many families coming in to the mission. Talk to us about the families that come in.
We in our new
and you have a new facility or a new
Yes,
building?
we have a new facility, the Scott Walker building, and we have 5 rooms for intact families with private baths. As far as we know, we're the only facility in North Texas that takes intact families. We also have housing for 5 single-parent men, and single-parent men with children do very, very well at the mission. And when you look at these families, you're thinking of people who have been living in cars, out on the street. We work with children. We have about 100 children that we work with as well. So trying to get these children in a sense of normalcy. I remember several years ago, one of the 5-year-olds walked through the main lobby at the Cox Center and said, "Mommy, this is the nicest place we've ever lived."
Oh. It's so difficult to see or imagine children in a homeless situation. Like you mentioned, living in cars and just trying to make it from day to day. Those parents are just trying to do what they can to protect their children. So to see that they have a place they can come to, and I love how you have an area for intact families to come. And that you're also considering those fathers who are single who are taking care of their child as well. There's segments of the homeless population that sometimes are not considered. And
That's
so,
true. That is true.
It's wonderful what you all are doing at the Union Gospel Mission in Tarrant County. Chaplain Manikas, keep doing what you're doing. And thanks for coming to talk to us. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for watching us here at Joy in Our Town.